Boogers.
Chan Stilzik.
We're here for that, Judge.
Hello, what's happening with this case?
He says for discovery compliance, they've not complied, and so this morning I filed a speedy trial motion yet again on this case, Judge. It's 3 years old.
All right, so state, who did you confer with?
Mr. Garahan, and I know that he's new to the court, but.
Sorry. This was one of the cases that was tried in Mekanik.
No. Thank you, 290.
She had to recuse because she had represented one of the witnesses.
All right, so what discovery do you not have?
So specifically, as I let you know last time we were set, Judge, when you set this, there was an arrest of the victim and the witness who identified my client, in this case, 2 days prior to the murder, that we believe is exculpatory and that it lays out a possible motive for the murder by this other man who we believe committed the murder. They were released after a 4-county car chase. I mean, I want the police reports related to that. And I want to know what the deal was that was made with those people, because it's pertinent to my client's defense. And they've known about this since November of 2019, because when that witness dropped a dime and had the police come out to talk to him, the first thing he told him is he got arrested with the dead guy 2 days before he was killed. So they've had this information this entire time. They've given us a 2-page police report, but it outlines a 4-county high-speed chase, lots of people involved, and that there were statements taken and they were released. And I'm asking for the records, like what happened there, and no one can get that for me.
All right, Mr. Garahan.
Your Honor, I spoke briefly with both defense counsels on this case. However, I'm not certain, but I don't know if the victim and the witness were arrested federally, or what exactly its charges, or if there were charges. I'm unaware of that.
Does anybody know the name of other people?
The state is aware of it, whether or not Mr. Garahan specifically is aware of it, because they did give me in discovery the police report, the report of investigation by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And it says that they referred the case to the 81st Judicial District for further prosecution. And that's what I've been requesting. And I've been requesting the records of LaSalle County. And these are things that it is very difficult for us to get from the outside as defense counsel.
No, I understand.
And so that's why I filed a motion to dismiss for want of speedy trial, because if the state does not comply with 3914, then I'm put in an uncomfortable position where I'm either waiving my client's right to a speedy trial by requesting more time, or I'm perhaps preventing him from due process at trial. So you've got 2 constitutional rights, and which one should he have to waive? So if they're not going to produce it, I would really like to go to trial on Monday, Judge. Or I'd like to grant the motion to dismiss.
Well, Judge, again, first I've heard that it was in the 81st District just right now. Anything with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, that's the federal government. We don't have access to that, nor is it in the state's possession. However, 81st District is the state of Texas, and I will do my due diligence to.
All right, and so I know that you're brand new on the case. I know this came from the 290th. The police report that you have.
I requested originally from Christina Escalona. She gave me the police report. I further requested from her the additional information about have there been any deals made, or was there recording. I've raised it with every prosecutor. I raised it with.
Do we want to subpoena Christina Escalona?
And it's in the report, the 81st District.
All right, so let's do this.
Judge, I want to clarify too, that report is a Homeland Security report. It is a federal report.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's do this. Are you able to make a copy of that? Give a copy of that to Mr. Garahan.
Yes, it has my bar number because it came from e-discovery.
No, I understand.
He can
I
have it.
understand. So you don't need to make a copy. He can have that.
He can have it.
All right. So, Mr. Garahan, whatever's in that report, that's what the defense is asking for. Now, if it's something that's with Homeland Security and that's not under your purview, you can't have access to that, we'll have a hearing on it, and we will have a hearing on it. And if somebody wants to bring me some case law that says that the state is responsible for obtaining information from Homeland Security, then I will hear it. If there's something that says, yeah, they're responsible for something from Homeland Security, then the court will hold them responsible for something from Homeland Security. Here's the issue with this court. I place things on the docket. I have a process here. I'm sorry, this case was transferred for the 290th, and I can tell you this case that was transferred from the 290th, there is nothing on the docketing sheet to show that anything was done in the 290th. I don't know why people don't write on the docketing sheet. I'm not holding any judge accountable for that. But the first thing that I have on this docketing sheet is from August 2022, and it's in my handwriting. And what it says on here, all discovery received per defense counsel. And I know you were not the defense attorney on that at that time.
I was just not present that day, Judge. When we were here in December, you set this for a hearing for them to bring the people for exactly what you're saying today. I don't want to reset it again. I'd rather just have trial without the information.
So this is what I'm doing. State, when can you have whatever witnesses you need to have subpoenaed for a hearing on discovery, if it exists? And when can somebody do their research on case law? And I'll do my research to find out whether or not the state is technically responsible for what Homeland Security has done, because that's a new one for me.
Well, Judge, I mean, we could do our research on that. I'm pretty certain that we're not responsible for turning over any records from the Homeland Security. However, I mean, obviously, defense counsel did obtain some files, I guess, from e-discovery that were in our possession or at some point, and that's why it was turned over. If it's in our possession, we'll turn it over. However, with other counties, I don't believe we're even responsible for getting other counties from other districts to get their police reports. However, I myself am saying that the state, we will try to get that for them. But I mean, I believe case law even says that they're not even responsible for obtaining those records from other counties. So I don't even know what witnesses I really necessarily need to bring. And if they're from other counties, I mean, the subpoena power is limited there. But I mean, at the same time, I don't believe that the state is actually obligated to be turning over reports or files from one federal government or two from other counties outside their county jurisdiction.
Okay.
And Judge, respectfully, when there's a witness who the night of the murder tells the police that this was a strategic hit that was called on by the Mexican mafia because of a snitch, and no one ever looks into the possibility that someone's a snitch, I'm being completely crippled in my ability to defend this man, who I believe to be innocent.
Okay.
Judge, I believe you have the subpoena power just as much as the state does.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. Ms. Ferguson.
How much soon will be going on for?
Yeah. She's like, I want no part of this. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you give me a jury trial setting on this case and put it at the 45-day mark? No. Okay. So that will be April 3rd. And then Ms. Ferguson. Well, I'm sorry, just 1 second. Let me look at, just give me 1 second, Ms. Ferguson. Put the jury trial. Is criminal trial division up the first week in May?
Yes,
All right, put the jury trial that first week in May. What date would that be?
May 2nd.
All right, so May 2nd will be the jury trial date and the plea deadline date. Then on all of these motions, we can have the motions hearings. We can do that at the beginning of April. So April 3rd will be for any discovery issues. Jury trial will be May 2nd, and that will also be the plea deadline date.
And I know we're not on the record, but just so Mr. Garahan's aware, I've also filed motions to have them designate which jail calls they intend to admit, because they gave me over 800 jail calls and no idea which ones to hunt for. That should be in the court's file.
I've seen that motion, Judge, but in all honesty, I haven't listened to all the jail calls yet. And I don't know which jail calls I would be presenting at this point.
Okay. All right.
So we're sort of in the same boat on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll have a motions hearing and discovery on April 3rd. Anything else?
Nothing from the state.
Judge, I do actually, because Chance has been incarcerated for almost 3 years now. His bond is something he can't even begin to make. And it's been not his delay that has caused this. I would ask that you allow him to have a PR bond with a like monitor or something like that.
All right, I'm not going to give a PR bond for a murder case, but if you all file a motion and present whatever you need to present, I'll consider a reduction.
Okay, we'll discuss that again with him.
All right, anything else? All right, anything, Mr. Stelzick?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, thank you.
Raise your right hand for me. Right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true. All right. You're before the court. You can put your hand down. On case 2023 CR 03493 for Sequoia Linda Lynn. Criminal trespass, count 1, obstruction of an officer, count 2. Mr. White, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Guilty to count 1, count 2 to be null for us, Your Honor.
By entering a plea of guilty to criminal trespass, Ms. Lynn, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. Oh, I'm sorry, second case. 2024 CR 02043, simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. How does your client plead to the offenses before the court on this case?
Guilty to count 1, count 2 to merge.
All right. By entering these pleas of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. In case 2023 CR 03493, the factual basis is that on January 15, 2023, Officer Jackson responded to 979 in regard to a domestic disturbance here in Clayton County. Upon arrival, or before arrival, excuse me, the officer made contact with the victim, who stated that her daughter had gotten. They were in the car arguing when the defendant or her daughter, Miss Sequoia Lynn, the defendant, had got upset and hung up the phone. When she arrived at the house, she saw that the defendant had started breaking things around the house. She called 911 because she was terrified for her daughter, because she believes that she would end up hurting somebody. The victim stated that the defendant had diagnosed schizophrenia as well as bipolar disorder, but before officers arrived, she believed that, or she had left the home and believed that she was at the Popeyes up the street. The officer then confirmed the story with 2 juvenile witnesses who were the sisters of the defendant. They stated that they had observed her upset, grab a baseball bat and start hitting the walls, as well as grabbing a knife and threw it at the wall, took the vacuum cleaner and threw it on the ground, breaking it. They did locate the defendant at a Shell gas station on Terra Boulevard and Mundy's Mill Road. She refused to answer any questions, and she attempted to walk up to the officers in a threatening manner with both of her fists balled up. She was taken into custody for the criminal trespass as well as the obstruction. The recommendation in this case was 12 months, 12 days to serve, with credit for any time she's been in custody, which has been all 12 days. And balance probated for her to have a mental health evaluation and any recommended treatment. And no violent contact with the victim. Count 2 will be dismissed. And then on case 2024 CR 02043, The factual basis is that on January 24th of 2024, officers were again dispatched to 9790 Braxley Way, who spoke, and upon arrival, Officer Mendez spoke with the victim, who stated that her daughter, Ms. Sequoia Lynn, was trying to get high and wanted to use her cell phone to make a call. However, she told her she couldn't use her phone because she needed to go to sleep and get up early for work. The defendant then got irritated and struck the victim in the face. But however, there were no marks on her face. And then the recommendation in this case, 12 months to serve 60 days. The balance probated to complete a mental health evaluation and recommended treatment. No violent contact with the victim, and count 2 will merge. And just for the court's attention, there's a history with this defendant and this victim, but there was also a prior conviction for battery against the same victim, I believe 2022, I think. Yes, 2022. And her mother does believe that this is a mental health concern, and that's why she's acting out. And she does want her daughter to get help and the treatment that she needs. Hence the no violent contact, because she is just concerned about her daughter's welfare.
All right. I'll offer this information for anyone who's listening who may need it. There's a new phone number, 988. If you dial that number, then you'll be directed to services that could help in a crisis, 988, in a mental health crisis. So that might be a better alternative than 911, but you have to judge that based on your safety. Also, there's the organization, the National Alliance of Mental Illness. That's NAMI.org, O-R-G. There's a Georgia chapter. I believe it is NAMI, NAMIGA.org. But you can Google that. And that organization may have resources that can assist you as someone who wants to help a person, an adult with mental health issues. And so those 2 resources hopefully will be helpful to someone. Ms. Lynn, I'm going to accept your plea on case 2023-CR-03493. Mr. White, do you have any concerns at this time that she doesn't appreciate her actions and the gravity of this plea?
Your Honor, I believe that she understands what she's pleading to, and I believe she understands the situation. I do, of course, have other concerns regarding her mental health, but I do believe she is competent to enter the plea.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sentence you on count 1 to 12 months to serve 12 days credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to take a mental health evaluation and any treatment that may be ordered. You're to have no violent or harassing contact with Miss. Count 2 will be no pros. In this case, will run concurrent with 2024-CR-02043 and 2024-CR-024. 02043. I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to count 1. Count 2 will merge. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 60 days. Balance will be probated for you to take a mental health evaluation and any treatment that might be ordered, and have no violent or harassing contact with Tajay Sims. This case, the 2 cases will run concurrent. All right, ma'am, you can go back with the sheriff's office. And